Uh, Hi, welcome. We are here in the San Michele garden, in Via San Michele, in the old part of town of Trieste. And we are glad today to introduce you an artist and a friend of mine, Elisa Vladilo.
Hi, hello.
And we talk with Elisa for the Local Artist is Present project. Today is the 11th appointment with this little format that we started in July with Creaa, Innovazione Creativa from Udine, with a partnership in partnership with Trieste Municipality, with Association Plan TS, with Casa dell'Arte and me. I'm Federica Purgatori and I am an art curator. Hello Elisa.
Hello.
We are in the fantastic garden. It's freezing, it's raining,
It's
but
really raining. It's okay.
we are here happy to see to can chat with you.
Exactly.
We are in this beautiful garden, the garden of Via San Michele. Now that's a special place, but here 14 years ago was abandoned place, and it was a wasted space. You, in partnership with the association Andandes, have helped to let the garden revive and make it more visually accessible with your painting, with your installation, colorful installation, and your environmental painting on this concrete colonnade. For me, that's a very interesting action and installation into a public space between architecture, sign, and sign of public art and public installation that can involve the people who live here, who crossing this garden. How was your intervention on this strange architecture was born?
Okay, I've been invited by Laura Flores and
Yeah.
the Andandes Association
Yeah.
in 2000, and because the place has been just restored, and it was very clean, and the restore was made by an architect, Pietro Cordara. But Laura Flore asked me we should bring some color in the place.
Yeah.
And so I did some projects, and we decided together for this about on the column. And the idea was to bring the color which are already in the place in a way, on
Yeah.
the nature, so the yellow and the green on the nature and the blue of the sky, and just bringing on the concrete, so to create like an echo again, and also because so this can be more cheerful, more,
Yes, powerful.
more powerful.
Yes.
On the first step, the town hall, they didn't let us to make this on the concrete.
Yeah.
So with Laura, we decided to make a workshop involving the children and
Oh,
the
fantastic.
parents of the place who come here today to play every day. And so during the summer we did a workshop where we realized kind of maquette.
Oh, with the children?
Yes, using some PVC, and then we wrapped all the columns.
Yeah.
And so then this was left like this, like for a while, I don't know, some months. And then we had the permission to make it like it is
Yes.
now.
From the Trieste municipality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for the to make this site specific, it was very important also to have the help from Santex who give us the color, and so and in a point after workshop, after 1 year, we painted again all the columns, and this is. And this is also a part of idea to create like a double place.
Yeah.
Because here there is another garden, but
Yes.
now it's
In another
closed.
part of the garden.
In the future, the idea is to continue with the project and make a garden bigger.
Okay. And the way you work in the public space often changes the perception that you have of the place, crossing it after your intervention. I think of the installation Nel blu dipinto di blu,
Yeah.
in the blue painted blue, as a famous Italian song.
Yes.
4 years ago in Trieste.
No, it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, with you painted several shades of blue on the asphalt, on the as an experiment of pedestrianization of a very trafficked and grey area. It's called Largo Sonnino.
Yes.
Yes, in the center of Trieste, in the particularly side of the city.
Yes.
Very grey part of the city.
Very chaotic as well.
Yeah, yeah. What is the feeling of modify the land and the ground we walk on? And how important is the color in this site-specific work you do?
Okay, in this situation, I've been invited by Lorenzo Bossi, and who has a shop. And his problem was really this area becomes more and more very chaotic because it's a crossing point between 4 streets, and it's very there are many cars, so
Yeah, with a
and
noise,
you
with a lot of
lose
noise.
really,
Yeah.
like a nice situation. So, and he said, let's do something in the European week about mobility.
Yeah.
And so with the town hall, the municipality, we built this project in this street. And my idea starts from the name of the street, which is Sette Fontane.
Yeah.
Under this street there is a water.
Yeah.
So in my imagination was like, let's think like if the water come up
Yeah.
on the street and coming down from the street, it
Oh,
leaves
okay.
all
Invaded
sign
the roof.
on the building
Yeah.
that meet. And so it's really the design is really like the water jump on the corner of the building, and so create like a triangle, something like this.
Oh.
And it's like a sign of the water coming down.
Yes. And do you like aerial view of your installation?
Yes, of course. The aerial view is the best way to
Yeah.
perceive, I mean, the global design of the place. But it's also very important the close perception of the place, because the feeling to walk on the color, I think it's something really peculiar and interesting. Of course, like painting on the asphalt is very interesting. And when we do this kind of project, I always invite public people
To collaborate.
to painting. And so it's always interesting to see how people becomes very happy, and like children, they find again enthusiasm. Really, they really come and say, "Oh, this is beautiful." I think for many reasons. One is because normally you don't have so many possibilities to play with the color in the public space, of course. And the other one, that normally in the public space is supposed that you cannot do something. So you feel like, oh, I'm doing something in the public space. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and of course, the other thing is that people in this way becomes more
a sort of reappropriation.
exactly, more aware that
of the
public
public
space is mine.
Of
So-
the city.
Exactly. So and these are many things that make this experience very peculiar and
Okay.
interesting.
And you did a similar experiment 2 years ago in Pula, Croatia. with Melting Street, another project in the old part of the city near the Roman arena. How was it to let the public participate in this realization of the painting, of the installation? And how will you describe people reaction in this city, in this border city, and a strange city as Pola is?
Okay, well, in this situation, the project started from a collaboration with Art Space, which is MMC Luca,
Yeah.
and which is really in the street.
Yeah.
So it's the street is Iliska, strada via dell'Istria, insomma,
Yes.
which is going through the arena.
Uh-huh.
And my idea, it was like if the art come outside from this space and goes in the street, so it's really like color coming out and spread out on the asphalt. So there are like three big shades of pink, orange and yellow
Yeah.
all on the long way. And also in this situation, the association invited many people to come to paint.
Yeah.
And also here was very interesting because adults, children, but also some politicians
Yeah.
came all dressed very seriously, but they anyway were painting on the street, and so it's like there is a feeling they really found again something which is related maybe more with the child dimension, because probably to play, of course, with color in the adults maybe it's not.
Yes.
It doesn't happen so
And
often.
and my curiosity, the use of yellow and orange and pink in this situation
Okay, the
have a particular significance, a
Of course,
particular
of course.
value for you.
the
to you.
street, the building were always very grey.
Yeah.
At the end, there was the arena, which is beautiful, and all the rest was quite grey, and it's like this feeling about towns when like they lose their identity. So it's something which is abandoned, and you don't. When you walk through this area, you don't have such a great feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, you walk, but you say, okay.
As a decadent area.
Yes, I mean, so the idea to use yellow, green, and pink is for sure to bring something which is definitely happy and cheerful, and to cheer up the place, to animate the place, and to bring a new perspective to the place. So what you normally see in this mood, a bit abandoned and without a kind of identity, you can work and have a different perception.
Okay. You often operate a metamorphosis on the urban landscape. I think of my favorite place, where you have covered a lot of square meters of Mole Audace in Trieste, with colored felt and foam rubber.
Yes.
What does it mean for you, that place in Trieste, in the center of Trieste, and what is your relationship with this strange and fascinating place?
Okay, Molo Audace, I think, is a pier. I mean, it's a pier, and I think for many people in town has a peculiar meaning, because it's kind of a promenade where you go to walk, watching the sea, but also like the infinito, and because it's almost the time is empty, there are no boats anymore, just
Yeah.
sometimes. So it's a place where people go to walk and to meet each
Okay.
other. To
No
have a
border,
break
only the
during
line
day.
to the horizon.
Exactly. And I do this, of course, as well. And once I was there, I realized, okay, this place is beautiful, but there is no color at all. It's
Yes.
completely gray and just shadow about brown. Well, okay, it's beautiful, but so in my imagination, I had this vision about the pier completely light blue, and I cannot remember now the name of the bitter, anyway.
Yeah.
A color with orange and pink, and the lamp in yellow.
The light lamp,
So
yeah.
I kept this idea in the drawer like for 5 years, because
Yeah.
it's like this. You have a vision, you don't know really in a way why, and then you keep in the drawer, and then in a point something can happen. And after 5 years, we started to make this project with Maria Campitelli about public art and Gruppo
Yeah.
68. And I thought, okay, maybe this is the good time.
Yeah.
And so I
A very
showed-
important conference.
Exactly, it was,
yes,
we did
for
many,
the public
many
art in
things,
Trieste.
workshop, and I don't know, it was a very long project. And I showed to Maria. Maria said, okay, let's try. And I went to the authority of the port with my very tiny drawer,
Yeah.
made like this, like a sketch, and just asking, well, I would like to do this, but I didn't expect really so much. And they said, why not? And so we started, and so all the process to have the permission was more or less 1 year. We started 1 year before, and then we decided together which one was the point I could work, because there are some they need to be empty part of the pier.
Yeah.
So I could make it in the center really of the pier,
Yeah.
which at the end I like it, even if it was different from the beginning. But
in the large path of
exactly,
this pier.
I think at the end it makes sense anyway, because in the middle is like kind of an island, really in the middle of the
Okay.
pier. So, and also watching
a small
from-
island.
Exactly. And it was really nice to see how all people were going there and just stopping more in this place, in this area, and the rest
Yes.
was more empty. And was really
And do you feel relaxed in this area after your installation, after your work?
Yes, of course. We had many, in a way, many troubles, because when we started to set up, we supposed to start to set up in the morning, but we had bora, very strong bora. So we said, okay, today
A
is
strong
not the
wind
day.
in
So we had
Trieste.
to start another day, and then there was a bit of bora again. So we had to play all the time with the bora, so it's okay, but it's part of the.
It
the-
was
it's part of
a
the
real
game.
performance.
Yes,
to-
in a way, yes.
Real- Okay, and the work in Klagenfurt 4 years ago on the water canal. Do you have created a particular installation on the water?
Yes.
Yes. That's a different kind of intervention. Or do you see this installation similar as the intervention on the fire in Trieste?
Okay, here it was a very interesting point, because it was really the end of a canal in Klagenfurt.
Yes.
And there is an association about artists and
Yeah.
curators. They organize every summer very interesting things like movies, theater,
Yeah.
music, visual art. And
And during the summer?
during the summer, yes, warm season. And when I visited the place, and I had this idea about how to use the water, because some other artists, they really use the water doing something inside of the water. But watching all the landscape, I had this vision about like using screen, various screen, colored screen.
Yeah.
So like maybe in the come si dice, impressionismo, maybe my idea.
Yeah.
It was that if you look the landscape through colors, the landscape also change the color, and so you can change
Because the water
vision of the
reflects
landscape.
them and
Exactly.
okay.
I mean, so and there was also the double things, which was the reflection on the water. So
Okay.
was a way, a possibility to change the landscape, the surrounding, I mean, the trees, and also to have the reflection, the game of the reflection of the colors on the water. So was kind of double things, and this material
As a dreamy vision.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and this material is something very simple that, with the help of an architect, we found is kind of tense, really.
Yeah.
But was perfect because in this way, really was the perception of the you can see really a bit of orange and with the yellow and the pink, so was really a game through the screen.
And do you can perceive the green area around of the
Yes,
installation,
of course.
around
Depends on
the
how
fabric?
you've watched,
Okay.
from the point of watch. And another thing that I
From
didn't,
different point of
yes.
view, you
yes, you can have a
Yeah.
different perception.
you could see the different view,
Exactly.
the different sensation.
Like the different cuts
Yeah.
of the landscape.
Okay.
And but the interesting thing, which I didn't thought about it, but at the end was
The name.
incredibly great.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. Was that they used for the movies a screen at the beginning. So then, but when I went, I couldn't see it because it wasn't. So then when it was the movies, was the screen of the movies, and behind also the other screen with the colors. So it was
Fantastic.
really a game between movies, colors, and
Stunning vision.
Yes,
Yeah.
I didn't expect this.
Double vision of color and the installation. I know your work when I arriving into the train station here in 2 years ago,
Yes.
maybe. When I just got off the train from Milan, and it was love at the first sight. It was Rima d'Origine,
Yes.
Rhyme of Origin, in which you invited 30 women residing in Trieste, coming from various countries, to write a poem in their mother tongue language, and translating it into Italian also, on the floor of the station lobby. You had covered the ground with 100 square meter
yes.
of PVC stripes in orange, pink, deep yellow.
Yes.
It was a work of relational art with a very strong impact, which made feel welcome and less disoriented once arrived in town. How was the idea of working on the poem Songs of Origin of Every Woman Born?
Oh, okay. The idea started when, in a point, they asked me to think something about the station, this area. For the idea was the beginning to celebrate in March for Women Day. But then this project, which I decided to make, it was too much complicated, and so we didn't manage to make it for in March. And I thought, okay, I will see if I find a way to do it anyway. And then I speaking with Spaesati, which is an organization here in Trieste who works with migration since many years. They liked it, the idea very much, and so we started to collaborate to build and
An installation,
to raise the money, to find to have the permission from the centro stazioni,
Yes.
and so on, which always are things that takes time. And of course, to find women who are from various countries and who lives here in Trieste. And so we organized all this together, and then we decided for one day, which was the 5th October, and it was like kind of a performance where all these women came together. I mean, they sent me, we organized the poems before, and they, of course, they choose the poems on her idea about her origin or her country, on her feeling. It was completely free, I mean, of course.
Okay.
And
And for you, to you, did it work to get people physically and emotionally close this situation?
well, this is really, it was really amazing because when you write, it's something, it's a moment very intimate.
Uh-huh.
And
Intimate.
so you share with other person this situation very, it's also in a kind of a silence. I mean, it's not like painting, you chat, you sing and blah, blah. But this writing was more a kind of meditation, something more quiet situation. And probably people find a connection, or I did the same project also in Cambridge, and I saw the same thing, that people find a connection really
In a similar way,
Yes,
you
yes,
have worked in
very
Cambridge.
close. Yes, more or less the same idea. And they get in touch very, maybe closely, I can say, more come si può dire? Molto da vicino, sono close.
Yes. Okay. The last question to you. You also have worked a lot in open landscape, in open space, not urbanized space, in the middle of nature, through some land art intervention. You can tell us, for example, stitching the border on the Monte Sabotino, the border between Italy and Slovenia.
This project started from two curators from Austria, Ulrike von Banke, Werner Koroschitz, and it was the idea. It was to work about borders, but not only physical borders, also mental borders. So all the artists have been invited to work on this specific theme, and I decided to work on the geographical border, political border, because I think it's very, always very interesting. And I thought, okay, in a way borders there are not anymore, thinking about Slovenia and Austria in the area. And my idea was...
Three border of three different countries.
Yeah, exactly. And my idea was like, let's stitch them together so they can become again like it was. I mean, I like the idea to think how it was before all the art has been divided in many countries. And so this is a way like to say, okay, let's stitch all together again and just be open to each other. I mean, in a way, this is the meaning. And we did the stitching also as a kind of a performance where people came working on Monte Sabotino, and it was one day where also some poets, they read poems, and so was all.
And the stitching is made of fabric or plastic? Or was made of
fabric.
Yeah.
And it's really fixed on the ground with some picks, and it's really made cross.
Yes.
Orange and yellow, like
this, like a finger crossed. Yeah.
Very easy to stitch. You do also when I was a child. like this.
And what difference do you feel when you create works in this open landscape, in an open space, into nature?
The nature for me is always, of course, something amazing and beautiful. And the first time I found myself to make something in the nature, I was really a bit lost, because the feeling was always, oh, is everything so perfect. I mean, and also I didn't want to. I like always to respect the place. So for me, the nature needs more respect, of course, than the urban. And so I started a bit shy.
Okay.
And then after a few years, I found some solution which, the nature takes his nature, and I do things, but in a way that doesn't bother.
And in the case of the traveling project developed in Mongolia 13 years ago, such as Mirror for the Sky.
Yes, these were kind of
do you
experiments.
Feeling the same sensation?
Yes, at the time was really strong.
The same approach.
This feeling was very strong. So first steps I just did with pigments, but with natural glue. So, and very small things. So, and they with the water, with the rain, were disappearing. So it was just
a temporary intervention,
little shine, and then poof.
Okay.
No, there is no trace. I mean, so.
Thank you very much, Elisa.
Thank you very much.
You are very kind. And now with us here, I'm very glad to have Laura Flores, the president of Cultural Association Andandes. Thank you, Laura, for welcome us in this beautiful San Michele garden. Laura is the person who in 1999 with a group of families reopened this garden to the public because this garden remained closed for decades due to facts of crime that shocked the city. One of the important activities of this cultural association was to call artist Elisa Vladilo, who proposed to color the concrete colonnade of the garden. This work had a symbolic value since represented the connection between the area currently used by your association for cultural activity and to a playground for children, and the other area. We can see the other area of the garden that has been closed to the public for 70 years, and that we hope to open again to the public next year, thanks to PISUS project. This interview and this format, the local artist is present, is made thanks to PISUS project of Trieste municipality. The work of Elisa Vladilo was made possible thanks to the coordinated action of many institutional and private actors, you and a lot of private. And the new expansion will represent a new step toward future action to make this adjacent green abandoned area accessible to a public use, to people, and to have a possibility to enjoy this place, this fantastic place. Thank you, Laura, for your work here, for this relaxing and fantastic atmosphere in this garden you have created in many years of work.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
and see you later. Thanks. Bye bye.